you know. So, Johnny, you were going to say?
I was just curious. So the way you present this, I mean, there's so many. So you say, okay, like it's different between mediums, right? Between video to comics, and so, but even within comics, manga style, it's a traditional style, and digital scrolling, vertical versus, you know, uh, back to front, as I would like to say. But like, so I mean, is there a particular version you'd like to write to? I mean, do you like the vertical style or the back to front? Is there anything that really more like you lean towards, or that you speak to specifically?
Right to left for sure is what I primarily make. As far as like what I prefer to make, in fact, the one shot that I did with Viz, it was the first right to left one shot that Viz put out in the one shot program.
Oh wow, that's cool.
When I was speaking with Hisashi-san, my editor is Hisashi Sasaki, and when I was speaking with him about that, he's like, "Why did you choose to make this right to left, or why do you choose to work that way?" And I'm like, well, when I was learning manga, I thought that was the only option. So I thought that's what I had to know. So I studied it. But I feel like I could easily make something that's left to right. I don't really feel like that makes too big of a difference. The rules of like Komawari and Kishotenketsu, they still apply whether you're making it right to left. It's just like, so Komawari is sort of like paneling or like layout theory for manga. And then Kishotenketsu is the like 4-part story writing style, like plot structure that you use for making manga. And so reading direction doesn't really apply to either of those things. It's just, it would be the same no matter which direction you're going. But I would definitely prefer making stuff right to left. I'm not a big fan of reading vertical, to be completely honest. I kind of get a little impatient because I hate having to do this all the time. Or like hitting the button, go faster.
Yeah, right.
So I do prefer reading in traditional format. I can read both. But as far as making it, I don't know. I've just always been making things right to left because that's what I thought I had to do.
I want to go back for a second to some of the stuff you had mentioned that I'd never heard of, like the panel theory and you said something about the 4-part story breakdown. So could you tell us, because I've never dabbled with manga. I don't know if Johnny, you haven't either, have you?
No, I mean, I've read some, but I've read some too.
Any. But these two terms are new to me. Have you heard of these before, Johnny? Or
no, not at all.
Yeah, I'm fascinated.
Actually, I'd like to
kind of tell us a little bit about both of those. Yeah, I'd love to know more.
All right. Well, we'll start with the more, probably the easier one. Komawari is more or less. I like to consider it for sake of ease. Like I like to consider it sort of like the theory or the way you go about paneling when you make manga. And Komawari has everything from giving panels unique names and unique purposes, sort of like we do in Western comics. Like you'll have like oblique panels, diagonal panels, you know, strict panels, rigid panels, static panels, whatever. Like it's the same concept, but in manga. And they all obviously have unique names. So for example, every 2-page spread has a focus panel, and that panel is called misegoma. And then in Japanese, in manga making, the first panel on a 2-page spread and the last panel on 2-page spread have names, which is basically like the page turn. And so the very first panel on a 2-page spread is called mekurigoma, and then the very last panel is called hikigoma. And hikigoma is the kanji that's used for it is the one that you associate with pulling. So it's pulling you to the next page. And then when you turn the page, you have the very first panel on the new 2-page spread, mekurigoma. So they all have like specific names and purposes. But one of the things that's unique to manga making specifically, I'm not sure if Western comics has like a specific panel, if this is like a thing, because I've been making manga longer than Western comics. But the concept of ma in Japanese culture is that when someone is talking, you are not supposed to think of your response while they're talking. You sit, you listen, you give them your full attention, and then after they're done talking, you pause and you think, and then you respond. And that concept is in manga with reaction panels that don't have dialogue, panels that are meant to take a pause, let the audience soak things in, and those are called ma-goma.
Or sometimes it's like when the character's like
Mhm.
startled by what they said,
Yeah.
it's like
Yes.
the 3 dots and the
Yeah,
word,
exactly.
the word balloon. That
Mhm.
means like full stop kind of thing, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be an
So that's
example.
neat. Yeah, because I've definitely noticed that. Like I've
Mhm.
noticed that with manga. That's really cool. And is there any other kind of panels that have a name like that, or
Yeah. So what we would call diagonal panels, or panels that don't have 4 corners that are perfectly square, those are called naname goma. They have like slight angles to them. And then if they have if they all have perfect 90-degree corners, they're called masu goma, which is basically like straight panel.
Okay.
So those are really fun. Another really big difference between manga and comics that I've noticed is comics tend to have pretty universal gutters, like top to bottom and side to side. In manga, the top to bottom panel, like between the 2 panels on the sides, it's thinner than the one that is like top to bottom. And that's done to sort of like group the panels together to help with the pacing, but also to help with the reading direction, to help you know, okay, oh, you're supposed to read this one next, supposed to read. They kind of group them together, utilizing the gutter structure. And in manga, the lines of the koma, the panels, they have a name, like a specific name, but the gutters don't. It's like the space between, but the lines themselves have a unique name, which is really funny to me. But the last thing is that the spine section, like the area between the live action spaces on the spine, has a very specific name, and you're not supposed to put any artwork in there. Because once you print in the big tankobon, or you print in like the thick magazines, you're not going to see what's in there. And if you grab a manga volume, like you'll actually see that. So like if you look at a manga volume and you look at the very top here, there's a space there, and that's because they don't draw in those areas, which Western comics, I believe, tend to do.
Yeah, I've seen some made comics where it's like you kind of like pulling it, you're almost pulling the staple out to read what the word balloon's saying. It's definitely a mistake for sure.
Hey everyone, Matt Serafini here. I'm thrilled to be winding down my summer book tour for Feeders, and I will be winding it all the way down on Saturday, August 23rd at the Plastic City Comic Con at the Hilton Doubletree in Leominster. I hope to see you all there, signing, selling copies of Feeders and all my other books too. Thank you very much.
It's the one.